This Catalan grammar video is about possessives. What's the difference between these three sentences? És la idea, no la meva. És la seva idea, no la meva. És una idea, no la meva. In English, you have my, your, her, his, its, our, your, their. In Catalan, like in other Romance languages, they also correspond to the gender and number of that which is owned. So for example, it can be the first, second, or third person. The word can be feminine or masculine, or the word could be singular or plural. La meva cançó, my song. Also notice that the word the is always placed before the possessive, so you are saying the my song. So let's look at some examples. El meu is a first person male noun singular. My car means el meu cotxe. My cell phone, el meu mòbil. My apartment, el meu pis. All of these use el meu because el cotxe, mòbil, pis, they're all masculine words. Let's look at an example sentence. El meu pis és molt petit, però m'és igual. My flat is very small, but I don't care. Els meus is a first person male noun plural. Els meus cotxes, els meus mòbils, els meus pisos, they're all in the plural. No són els meus mòbils. They aren't my cell phones. La meva is a first person female noun singular. Since la feina, la jaqueta, la taula have la, which is the feminine article, you have to use meva. La meva feina, la meva jaqueta, la meva taula. La meva feina és la meva vida. My job is my life. Les meves. It's the same as before, but it's just in the plural. Les meves feines, les meves jaquetes, les meves taules. Totes les meves jaquetes són blanques. So in English, you have one way of saying my, but in Catalan, you have four, based on the gender and the number. Here we see the masculine, el meu, el teu, el seu, el nostre, el vostre, el seu, and we have the feminine, la meva, la teva, la seva, la nostra, la vostra, la seva. Now let's take a look at some examples. My dream, el meu somni, el teu malson, your nightmare. This is when you use tu, el teu mòbil, your cell phone, el teu marit, your husband. Her, his, its, on, el seu braç. The possessives her, his, are modified based on the gender of the speaker, she and he, whereas in Catalan, the third person singular is modified based on the gender of the object owned, not the gender of the speaker. So for example, you have el seu nòvio, la seva nòvia, which can either mean her, his boyfriend, her, his girlfriend. In English, when you say her boyfriend, you know that you're talking about a person that is female who has a boyfriend. Whereas if you say el seu nòvio in Catalan, it's ambiguous. The same thing with la seva. It's ambiguous. It doesn't give you any information about the gender of the person who owns it. And here we have el nostre cotxe, el nostre fill. El vostre means your in the plural. So basically that means that it's the equivalent of the vosaltres and not of the tu. And for the third person plural, there is el seu as well. El seu cotxe, their car. When the object is feminine or female, you use the feminine possessive, which is la meva. So for example, la meva opinió, la teva opinió, la seva opinió, la nostra opinió, la vostra opinió, la seva opinió. And in the plural, it's the same. Les meves idees, les teves idees, les seves idees, les nostres idees, les vostres idees, les seves idees. In Valencian and southern varieties, the V is replaced by U in the feminine. So instead of la meva, la teva, la seua, it's la meua, la teua, la seua. You can see that la nostra and la vostra remains unchanged. And in the plural, you just add an S. So it's les meues, les teues, les seues. Now let's look at possessive pronouns. The possessive pronouns in English are mine, yours, his, hers, ours, yours, theirs. In Catalan, they don't change like they do in English, but you don't use the article, el in this case. És meu, és teu, és seu, és nostre, és vostre, és seu. When referring to a feminine noun, you must use the feminine. So, és meva, és teva, és seva, és nostra, és vostra, és seva. And when referring to plural nouns, you use the plural. Són meves, són vostres, són seus. When it is a noun, you place the article before it. Mine is better than yours. El meu és millor que el teu. La meva és millor que la teva. It is used after the noun in the vocative and when using the of mine construction. For example, amo meu no saps quant estimo. He's a friend of mine. Also in some expressions. Mare meva, casa meva, vols venir a casa meva? Els possessius átons. In addition to the tonic possessive adjectives, that is, the long form, there are the aton possessive adjectives, the short form. Instead of al meu, use mon. Instead of al teu, ton. Instead of al seu, son. Instead of la meva, ma. Instead of la teva, ta. Instead of la seva, sa. So we've just looked at the singular, which is mon, ton, son, ma, ta, sa. Let's look at the plural. Mus, tus, sus, mas, tas, sas. As you can see, you do not use the article when using these forms. So the equivalent of this for nostra and vostra is not changing the way you write it, but rather not using the article. For example, Déu nostre Senyor, la senyera nostra bandera. The plural form of the masculine replaces N with S. For example, mus pares, tus pares, sus pares, sus pares. In some regions, they simply will add an S. Mons pares, tons pares, sons pares. It's commonly used when referring to close family members. So for example, mamare, damare, samare, etc. You can also find it in literature and poetry and used in some expressions. Vine a casa, sa majestat el rei, per tonar-m'ho, per dir el camí, en ma vida, cada terra fa sa guerra. You can always use the tonic form as is used in everyday speech and writing. Vine a casa meva, instead of vine a ma casa, pel teu amor vaig perdre el camí, per ton amor perdi el camí. Per ton amor perdi el camí is more poetic sounding. The feminine uses the masculine form when the next word begins with a vowel or H. So instead of ma amiga, you say mun amiga, tun amiga, sun amiga. It is used unaltered in some cases, such as Sa Alteza Real la Princesa. This is only for euphony, so the plural form is feminine. So instead of saying mus amigas, you say mas amigas, tas amigas, sas amigas. Think of how the English indefinite article adds an N when it is preceded by a vowel sound, such as an hour, an aunt. Different pronouns, different possessives. When using other pronouns, the possessives overlap the use, and some may even use different forms. So for the pronouns vostè, vostès, vos, els, els, you have different forms. So let's look at them. When using vostè, you use el seu, like when you say her, his, its. This is the formal singular second person. Bella seva filia, is your daughter coming? Instead of using bella teva filia, when using vostès, vostè in the plural, you use al seu as well. When using vos, you use al vostre. This is a variant of the formal singular second person vostè. Bella vostra filia, which would be the same as bella seva filia if you're using vostè. Llu is a third person plural only. The article may or may not precede it. It is equal to d'elles and d'ells, and it is neuter, but is modified when in the plural. Volen anar a la muntanya amb llur àvia. Han deixat llurs gossos a casa. The use of llu is regional, poetic, and formal text. It removes any ambiguity that the use of el seu might cause. For example, aquests gots són llurs, aquests gots són seus. The first one only means d'elles, d'ells, of them. In the second one, it could mean his, hers, of them. You, formal, plural. However, as mentioned, la seva, el seu, is what is normally used today in speech and writing. Other uses. In some cases, you don't need to use the possessive because you can use sentence structures to imply ownership. Se m'ha trencat la pantalla del mòbil. Dóna'm la mà. Renta't les mans. Mira'm als ulls. The masculine singular possessive pronouns are used after adverbs of location. Les ulleres són darrere teu. Estava caminant davant nostre. They can also be owned. Les ulleres són al teu darrere. El mòbil està al teu costat. Sempre seré al teu costat, allà on vagis. With the article salat in the Balearic Islands, the constructions are all the same as well. And with the lu article, that is when al is lu and als is lus, the construction is also the same. So, what is the difference between these three? That can all mean it's their idea, not mine. Let's break it down. The first one is és llur idea, no la meva, the third person plural, llu, and the V variant of the feminine my. The second one, és la seva idea, no la meva. It can be the third person singular and plural, and of vostè and of vostès. And the writing is of the southern variety. And the third one, és son idea, no la meva, is in the third person singular and plural, vuste, vustes form, in the aton form with N the euphony, and has the V variant of the feminine mai. So even though all of these can mean the same thing, now you know the difference in nuances each one has. I hope you liked the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Adeu!